Hey Heartland family, Pastor Ethan here with another Walk the Path video from Sunday's message. This week we continued our series on the letters to the churches in the book of the Revelation, and we talked about the church in Pergamum and the church in Thyatira. And as I was sitting here thinking about how do we walk the path this week, I was thinking about the state of Pergamum in particular, and where Christ mentions where Satan has his throne, right? We talked about how that's idolatry. They have these pagan festivals where all these things happen. And it reminds me a little bit of, in our culture, we are kind of surrounded by different forms of temptation all the time, right? Temptations to turn away from Christ, to give into this sin, watch things we shouldn't watch pretty much all the time, temptations to go get drunk. There's just so many things, right, that are always tempting us. And about Pergamum, that was a place where Satan has his throne, right? And I think sometimes there's more subversive forms of temptations and more overt forms of temptation, and where we live, it's just kind of like temptation all the time. I remember talking with somebody who had moved from Africa to America, and they had said, this is fascinating, this kind of blew my mind, but they had said that for American Christians, that they said we are the heroes of the faith because we are constantly surrounded by temptation and we continue to follow Christ. And whereas they're saying when we were in Africa, if we wanted to go get drunk or do this, we couldn't because we didn't have access to it. But we have access to all sorts of things. The main message of Revelation is that we persevere. With patient endurance, we persevere. And that's the long game, right? So I would encourage us, with the church in Pergamum, are there areas of compromise in your life where maybe you would say, like, I keep giving into this temptation, that you're maybe allowing Satan and his ideology and his way to control you, to steer you, just like the church in Pergamum was struggling with, right? And we struggle with being steered by our own desires and by the temptations of the enemy and all sorts of things in our lives. Identify those things and then repent, is what Christ says. Turn from those things. Even last night, I was thinking, man, I've been playing a lot of video games lately. Last night, I was like, Lord, if you want me to sell all this and not to do this, I don't think it's bad in itself, but if I get mastered by it, I don't want to get mastered by it. And I was like, Lord, if you want me to sell this, I will. And so maybe there's some areas in your life, maybe there are things that are good in your life. They're fine. But maybe they've taken control of you, or maybe there's more overt sinful things that have taken control of you. Let's not compromise. Let's patiently endure the storm of temptation that surrounds all of us. Sorry, it's a long one today, but we love you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you Sunday.